Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Florida Aviation Network. I'm Ben Coleman, your anchor host here for the activities at Sun and Fun 52, Red, White, Blue 52. Gene Conrad and his volunteer, well, he does have a small staff, about 40 of them, but over 3,000 volunteers help put this event on. We encourage you to come here and be a part of it, and you cannot help but be a part of it. If you walk through the gate and you're on the property, you're part of it, and we welcome you and we thank you. The Florida Aviation Network is a project of the National Aviation Safety Foundation, and we are a safety-oriented, safety guidance type of operators, and we bring this on with all volunteers. There's not a single paid person on our staff that helps put this on. And why do we do that? Why would somebody come out and spend a beautiful day out hanging around a site and making videos and pictures and so forth? It's the passion in aviation. And we're here in the state of Florida, which is a beautiful state of Florida that has usually, I think the average is like 300 days, 300 VFR days. And that's why it is the flight training capital of the world. And to help us do that in the state of Florida, we have a little department called the Department of Transportation. We have a gentleman here that's representing the Department of Transportation, Jim.
Good
Welcome.
morning.
Jim Durwin. Jim, you have been with the Department of Transportation for how long?
About 2 years.
Okay. However, we do have some crossover. The folks that you work for have been working with us forever.
Absolutely. Long-standing relationship.
And Jim, what is your primary goal and your aim, your responsibility? What are you paid to do for DOT?
Sure. So I am the Aviation Operations Administrator. I primarily oversee the operations section. We deal with safety, security, airport inspections, and disaster preparedness. So that's our primary areas of function within my section.
Excellent. And Jim, I do want to compliment you on your haircut.
Thank you.
It's so much easier, and you save on shampoo.
Absolutely.
Our shampoo bills are just out
That's
of nothing.
right.
But this gets a little bit fuzzy every now and then.
It does, yes.
Anyway, Jim, the growth and economics and funding. You mentioned, and everybody in business, it's all about funding. Right. You have, I guess you guys are getting more involved with the airport primarily development and the operation aspect and funding. How much can you tell me about where DOT wants to go? What are your goals and objectives? Safety is our goal in industry. It's always safety is a goal. But
sure.
How do you guys accomplish that at DOT?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, our primary goal is a safe, secure, efficient, and customer-friendly aviation system within the state of Florida. But, you know, in addition to my section, the operations section, we also have a planning and a program section. And, you know, obviously planning, we're assisting airports with planning endeavors, master planning, you know, for future growth and development. But one of the big pieces that we do as well is infrastructure development. We provide around $200 million or over $200 million a year in funding assistance where we can invest in infrastructure development within airports in our state. So that's huge, especially when you can combine that with some federal funding, right? And we can use the federal funding to fund a large portion of these projects, and then the state funding to match some, and then the local match. So from an airport perspective, they can get really big projects done for not a lot of local funding, right? Mm-hmm. So leveraging those federal and those state resources together are very, very helpful.
Well, and there's a lot of moving parts in this.
There is.
The dynamics are remarkable, I can imagine.
Sure.
But anything that we can do here to help you and getting the word out, that's what we're here for.
Sure.
And I'm sure that you guys are there to help us and prop us up and put our moniker somewhere on it. But
absolutely.
If you got an airport that you got a little bit of a, I'm going to say issue maybe,
sure.
or a potential problem, let us know. We'll be there.
Sure.
And Jim, you speak so well, and I'm kind of thinking, was it retired military, Air Force maybe?
Absolutely, yes sir.
you weren't flying in the Air Force, however, you support operations, admin aspects, and What else did you do that, and you picked up an awful lot, I'm sure.
Sure. No, I was glad to serve in the United States Air Force. Started out as a POL troop, and then eventually ended up in command and control. I was able to use the GI Bill to basically go to college, right? And proud two-time alumni of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. So I'm kind of involved in aviation a little bit here, a little bit there. For about the past 18 years, I've been an adjunct instructor with Embry-Riddle as well. So I really enjoy that piece, sharing, I feel the very little bits and pieces that I know with the students that are coming up and are going to be the leaders here in our state and really across the nation and the world in aviation. So it's exciting. I worked at a local airport for about 24 years. And had the opportunity to retire from that position and then take the position with FDOT, which was exciting to me because in my previous life, I was very involved with just one airport, right? I was focused on that one airport and its growth and development and safety and security. But now I can look at the entire system throughout the state, and it's such an amazing system, right? With everything from the large commercial service airports to the very small general aviation, the seaplane bases, right? Just all this myriad of things that, quite honestly, I had never been engaged in before, and it's been an exciting 2 years, and I just continue to learn new things every day, which I think is one of the great things about aviation. Is you just continue to learn.
Well, Jim, I know that Dave Roberts and we go way back.
Sure.
And, Dave is one of the few people, I'm going to say something good about him. Hopefully he's not seeing this, but he's approachable. I mean, Dave will talk, he will pick up the phone and answer the phone and talk to you. Yes. And it's very, very refreshing when you call Department of Transportation and you get the big guy.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you that Andy Keith, he's been around for a while, and it's so good to see you guys come out again now that you have some funding and you drew back. Now you're building and building very carefully, I'm sure, but it's all layers, and we want to help you as much as we can.
Absolutely.
Department of Transportation, you mentioned the word friendly. And it's so important to our young people. We're all about trying to get youth more involved in the industry, and it's not just aviation. It's aerospace, and we have developed that quite a bit. The aerospace aspect, I mean, in the state of Florida, we're kind of rich.
That's it.
In space.
That's right.
Do you have much dealing with the SpaceX folks and anything over the coast?
A very little bit of overlap there. We actually, within DOT, do have a spaceports office, so they oversee and do a lot of that interaction with those entities. So it's great to occasionally overlap with them. But I think you're right. I think you bring up a great point that, organizationally, one of the reasons why I decided to come and join the DOT is that organizational structure. So from David Roberts, being the state aviation manager, all the way up through the entire chain of command to the Secretary of Transportation, Jared Perdue, we really do have a strong organization that's focused on safety, that's focused on that customer service, and we want to be approachable. So, if folks need to, have a question or have a need, reach out to us. Let us help you. That's what we're there for. We're there to be of assistance. That old joke, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. We put that out there, but we actually do try to be helpful and try to assist where we can.
And I can see that you're the cut of the same cloth that I was. Back when I was a Fed, I would start a presentation of how many folks here pay taxes? And people looking around, I'm not going to raise my hand. IRS might be watching.
Sure.
Or if they don't raise my hand, I don't know. I'm going to get in trouble either way. So,
right.
But if you pay taxes and I'm here on the government dole, I want to thank you for a job.
Absolutely.
And I you have that same mannerism about you.
Absolutely.
And it seems like a good fit. I mean, you in this role. And kudos to Dave and Andy for pulling you in. But the whole aspect of being friendly and professional, and I'm sure that you have the tools in your toolbox, just like we did at the FAA.
Sure.
you see something go in the wrong direction, or it might not have the right look or smell about it, you get involved when you have to, but not. You're not going to be laying there in the weeds with a long lens on your camera taking a picture.
Right. We're not a gotcha agency. Absolutely not.
And the fun part of it, when are we going to start seeing some airport facility guides and manuals come back?
Oh, they're here. So they are back.
No, I haven't seen one.
Absolutely, yeah. We have them here at Sun and Fun. We're giving them out here. Also, you can contact our office if you're a flight school or an FBO or an airport and you want some. Reach out to us. We'll gladly ship them to you. So we definitely want to make wide distribution of our airport directories and aeronautical charts.
Well, and unfortunately, Jim, these things here have replaced a lot of publications, but it's always that spiral bounder of being able to actually flip through.
It feels good in your hands.
Yeah, it's tactile. You can touch it and feel it.
Yes.
Do you get involved with that, or just keeping it updated, or what is your role with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Our program section is the primary lead on that issue. But no, we all can provide input, making sure that we have a database. We call it the Florida Aviation Database, and that's information on all of our public and private use airports. So we ensure that that's updated. We actually use that database to develop the annual directories.
Well, and you guys just helped a friend of mine, actually a partner in CB, get his seaplane base recognized.
Nice.
There in Groveland.
Okay.
And he called me one day and said, Ben, I don't think I need any help with these guys, but I've talked to the Department of Transportation, and they seem very, very supportive. And what else do I need to do to establish this as a seaplane base?
Sure.
And he said it was seamless. It was painless.
Good. That's good to hear.
So it's good to know. H2 Oztech, by the way.
Okay. Nice.
Have you remember seeing that? It's
I
fresh.
do not remember, but I'm sure some folks in our office were very, very much involved in that. So.
Very much. Cherry Lake in Groveland.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're so fortunate here in the state of Florida to have so much water around us.
Absolutely.
And I know, Jim, you're not a flyer yet. But
That's right.
I think you were about to tell me as we were warming up here, you're thinking about it.
Yeah, coming close, sure.
Okay. Well, let's get you lined up with some folks and get you first.
Sounds
we need to get you in a glider.
Yeah.
And then we'll get you in a tailwheel airplane.
Yeah.
And then we'll throw you in the water.
Go from there,
get
right?
Your seaplane get your seaplane.
There you go.
And now you're a pilot.
Yeah, that's right.
How about maintenance? What kind of mechanic aspect does the Department of Transportation? I'm going to put you on the spot. We didn't talk about it.
Yeah, no, that's great. One of the other responsibilities that we have is workforce development, right? So, we hear a lot about the pilot shortage, nationwide and, of course, within the state, but also from an A&P mechanic standpoint as well. So we are working with some different entities and agencies to try to help affect some of that, to make sure that we have that pipeline of mechanics that we're going to need within the state to support our aviation system here. So we're also doing some very interesting things, actually right down the road in Bartow, right? We're looking at some things with air traffic controller training with Travis Technical College and some partnerships that are going on there. So we're very supportive of that. And we think that really has the potential to grow and help to address some of the shortages that we're seeing in that area as well.
And Fred Hyde, he gets giggly when you talk about what's happening at Bartow with ATC.
Yes.
He's really a strong supporter.
Absolutely.
And and I mentioned the mechanic aspect. Are you a member of PAMA?
I am not.
Do you realize that you can be a member of PAMA and you don't have to be a mechanic?
Okay.
We need to get the state to get behind that. George Golia was here yesterday.
Okay.
And he's the president of PAMA.
Okay.
Actually, he's the only mechanic that was ever been appointed to the 5-member NTSB board.
Oh, okay.
Presidential appointee.
Okay.
And we're pounding the drum hard for maintenance folks. We really are.
Yes, absolutely.
And the state can fall right in there to support and help us. And sometimes, Jim, it's so easy, even seeing the moniker, the Florida DOT moniker in support of that. You guys have such a rich, resounding history.
Sure.
And in Florida, in general, for aviation or aerospace now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Where are we going to? What are you going to be doing? Again, putting you on the spot. You're and you're going to be a lifer there. I can, as
Sure.
long as you want a job there, I think you're going to have a job
Sure,
there, Jim.
sure.
It's a good fit. But what are your goals? Your 2-year, 5-year, 10-year? I don't know how you guys structure what we want to do, where we want to be.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely an exciting time to be working with the Florida Department of Transportation as the aviation system continues to develop, right? I'm always up for a challenge, right? So some of the challenges we talked about with workforce development, with infrastructure funding. One of the things about infrastructure, and we know as a lot of airports in the state are nearing capacity, we need to add additional infrastructure. Well, that takes big money, and it usually takes quite a bit of time to build new runways, new pieces of infrastructure. So we're looking at alternative ways to fund some of this infrastructure because we understand that it's needed. So ways to prioritize, identify, and then fund the system so that it can continue to support the citizens of the state of Florida, can continue to grow, and really can continue to be the best aviation system here in the United States. That's really what we're after. We've also, from the DOT standpoint, been very much involved in advanced air mobility. And that's handled through a different section of DOT. So it's not really under my area, but that's definitely an exciting piece as well. They've got some development going in at SunTrax just up the road in Auburndale. So that's going to be exciting. So it's going to be exciting to see how these things continue to develop. And I'm just really grateful to be a part of it, to be a part of the aviation system here in Florida. It's definitely an honor and a privilege.
Well, and again, the honor is ours to have you guys here participating in this event. But did you realize that in Orlando next week there is such thing called a aviation maintenance technician competition?
Okay, I thought we were going to talk about MRO
Okay.
meeting, but okay, no, that is very interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and John has aligned this up with the MRO meeting, but
Yeah.
it's actually teams of mechanics.
Okay.
And they're 5-member teams, and they actually go through and do competition, and it's all on the clock. They time it of who is successful the quickest.
That's interesting.
And we want to always do things fast in maintenance.
Sure.
Some things are like ordering parts, that's not fast. But it's always good, and I would like to really kind of line up PAMA, Professional Aerospace Mechanics Association,
Sure.
with the Florida Department of Transportation. And we can announce it here that it started right here.
Absolutely. I think it's a great idea. Absolutely.
And we need it.
Sure.
But the pilots shortage, I can almost say that we might be through the shortage aspect.
Yeah.
But the pipeline is what we want to keep going.
The pipeline, yes.
We want to front load it.
Absolutely.
All these whippersnappers walking around here.
That's right.
Get them hooked.
That's right.
And pull them in, and they can be contribute to paying your salary.
Sure.
I mean,
Absolutely.
taxpayers.
Yeah.
We want to be successful taxpayers.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I don't mean to talk trite or talk down about that, because I was proud to be a civil servant.
Absolutely.
I really am.
Yes.
And it was not a right. It was a privilege.
Absolutely.
And that you being with your military background, I can see you just kind of rolled right into this.
Sure.
And as a provider.
Sure.
And Jim, in the 2 minutes that we have to wind this interview down, is there anything that we have not discussed that you really wanted to discuss, and to let Dave Roberts know that you're pounding the drum, waving the flag?
Sure. One of the things that I would like to mention, because we kind of glossed over, is just the disaster preparedness piece. I'm really proud of the operations section with FDOT. When hurricanes threaten our state or natural disasters, our team is in the EOC, in the State Emergency Operations Center. We're pushing information out to all the emergency responders, and it's such an amazing thing to see and to be a part of, how all these different agencies, National Guard, Coast Guard, just Fish and Wildlife, and just all these different groups, coming together to serve the people of Florida. It's just really, really, heartwarming to see. It's great to be a part of that overall effort, and that's something that I think a lot of folks don't really think about, right? But the critical role that our airports play in disaster recovery, disaster preparedness. So that's one thing I'd like to mention, and just mention that I'm really proud of the team that works behind the scenes on that.
Well, and there's a phrase that there's never a problem until there's a problem.
Sure.
And when we have bad weather roll in, it's a problem for everybody. And it's good to know that you're there and your group and you're fit and ready to go.
Absolutely.
Jim, thank you so much for your
Yes, sir.
time.
Thank you.
And I look forward to our future conversations.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Ben Coleman with Florida Aviation Network. We're going to go out here in the field here pretty well because the air show is just about to start. So let's go see it. And we'll talk to you next interview.